Well, hello everybody. It's Brother Todd with your Victory Minute. And I hope you boys and girls out there are all having a good day. I slipped out here in the country. I told them earlier in the office today I need to get out and make a Victory Minute. The problem with it was I really didn't know exactly what I was going to talk to you boys and girls about. But as it's turned out, as the afternoons kind of wore on, there's some things I've been dealing with that come into all of our lives. And I thought, well, maybe it might help you deal with something that we all deal with in life, and that is the opportunity to be discouraged. I've been talking with some folks on the phone this afternoon that are dealing with some situations that can sure enough discourage you. Discouragement is one of the oldest enemies, so to speak, the oldest tools, as it were, in the enemy's toolbox. If old devil can get you discouraged, he can get you disillusioned. If he can get you disillusioned, he can get you depressed. If he gets you depressed, he can get you still. You always have to be ready to fight discouragement. When King David went to, before he ever went out there and slew Goliath, he had 3 opportunities to get discouraged. His brother tried to discourage him, his king tried to discourage him, and of course old Goliath tried to discourage him. You're going to deal with it in life. This world is a struggle, and if you're trying to get anything done of any kind of consequence whatsoever, you are going to have the potential. You're going to deal with the reality of discouragement, and you're going to have the potential to be discouraged. And you live long enough, you're going to go through where you deal with despondency of some type or another. And whose old boy wrote Pilgrim's Progress, Bunyan, he talked about the slough of despondency. You can sure enough get bogged down in it and get stuck in it. I drove out here to the country, just out beside one of the places we run some hay fields, and you can't see it, and I'm not going to show it to you, but right over there is the worst looking Sudan patch you ever seen in your life. It ain't worth the time and the effort and the money that I put into it. We got it planted early. It was ahead of everything. Everything was good. And then in these parts, we had a really cool April. And we haven't got the rains that most of the people in this part of Texas have got. And boy, that ryegrass jumped off and it choked the living daylights out of that Sudan. It ain't got enough heat or water on it to come through, and it's about wiped it out now. And so there's that. Now that's not a big thing. That's just doing stuff. I have dealt with, and in ministry, you deal with lots of opportunities to deal with discouragement. You laugh with those that laugh, and you cry with those that cry. You deal with a lot of those things in life. Frankly, my family all laughs. Nobody in the world would ever pick me to be a preacher. But God put me in preaching school, or being able to pastor, from the time I was a kid, because he's been building patience in me all my life. And it didn't matter what I got when I was a kid, it'd break. If it was working to start with, it'd break quick. I'm telling you, all my life. I bought my first car, I was 14. And couldn't even get a learner's permit yet. You had to be 15 here to get one back then. And but I had worked and I'd put my money back, and I bought my first car. It was a 1967 Ford Grand Torino GT. Wished I had it now. And anyway, we were driving it home. My mom was driving. I was sitting in the front seat. We was on 635 coming around Dallas. I couldn't, of course, was way too young to drive. And she said, "Todd, I don't know how to tell you this. The oil light just come on." Anyway, by the time we got, long story short, by the time I got the thing home, we come riding in with my granddaddy, and the car come in on a wrecker, and everybody thought I was playing a joke on them. All the kin folks was there, because I'm the oldest kid and the oldest grandkid on both sides. And so everybody was there, and they thought we was pulling some funny joke. And I'm like, no, that's it. So the first thing I got to do with that car, rather than drive it, was put a set of rod bearings in it and a new oil pump drive shaft. Some of you old guys remember them old 302 Fords, them little hex shafts? Yeah, well, anyway, I learned them about on the hard way. So anyhow, it's been like that one way after another my whole life. I never buy anything to this day that I expect it to work. I go buy a brand new appliance, it'll be broke as soon as it gets out of warranty. It breaks. I'm telling you, it's just that way. And but when you think about it, it's a lot of that is it's taught me you just keep moving. You keep moving forward. If you're trying to get anything done worthwhile, then there's going to be a fight involved. That's just the reality of dealing with a sin-cursed world. Well, if you're dealing with anything that can get you discouraged, or you're in the middle of it right now, let me give you some things to think about. I was sitting out here looking at this nonsense of a hayfield, and I thought, boy, if I wasn't doing this for something that matters, I'd quit this. And what I mean by something that matters, well, yeah, I spent my life in ministry, so I don't have a retirement. And so I do this stuff on the side, try to build so my wife will have a retirement, especially if I fall over, and soon. And then, and I like to, if I can make a little bit of money on the side, I take my wife on vacation. And but it's for those things. It's for things that matter. You're going to live successfully in this world, and if you're going to live abundantly in this world, you better make sure that you are doing things that are worth fighting for. That your focus is not just on having stuff, but it's building a family. If your focus is on eternal things, and the only thing going to heaven from this earth is the souls of men and women, boys and girls. If you're putting it into something worth fighting for, you don't end up depressed about doing it. This is when Solomon got his mind all off on 100,000 different wrong things. He was doing all that building. He get all this fantastic building done, and he go, well, it don't really mean much, right? He got down about it. It depressed him because he wasn't finding eternal significance in it. He ultimately said, I've got to fear God and keep his commandments. This is what matters. I've got to make certain that the things I'm doing are worth doing. Why are you doing the things you're doing? You say, well, Brother Todd, I got to go to work. Yeah, but what's your focus on it? What's your focus on it? Because if not, you're going to come to this moment where even if you're abundantly, you have abundance of money and those kinds of things, you can look at it and go, well, yeah, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. How do you keep from getting discouraged? Is one of the things is to make sure the things you're fighting for are worth fighting for. King David said, talking about with his older brother Eliab, when his older brother Eliab began to try to discourage him, what did David say? David said, is there not a cause? Is there not a cause? Is there not something worth fighting for? And you've got to make certain that you find something worth fighting for. Secondly, you got to have something worth fighting with. Okay. The things of this world don't overcome the battles of the mind, the battles of the spirit. It takes a spiritual sword. It takes bringing something into the fight that is enough, that is capable. Now, if you think about like there in Ephesians 6, where Paul was talking about the armor of the Christian, he talked about first and foremost as an offensive weapon, the sword of the word, right? The word is going to be able to overcome you. It's going to be able to overcome the situation. It's going to be able to overcome the enemies, right? Because we have real truth there, right? We will know the truth, Jesus said, and the truth will set us free. I can deal with situations. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. If God is for me, then who can be against me? So I can deal with my enemies. I can deal with realities. Even something like this, I remember, hey, this is a sin-cursed world. I say this, I'm talking about that ragged and knot of a Sudan field. This earth is cursed. It's cursed because of sin. Now the sweat of your brow, or you're gonna bring anything, the Lord said. And it keeps me from loving this world more than it keeps me from loving heaven. All of these things are things out of the word that I know. And the Lord's going to make a way. This is small. This don't mean anything. The things I was talking to people on the phone about today, they're big things in their life. They're things that could really get us down. And we all got those things. I'm dealing with things far beyond whether grass grows or not. In my life, my family, my friends, my church, my mind, all of those things are all big things that could discourage us. But yet we've got that hook in the word. I do a deal. In fact, it'll be coming up this Friday night with guys called Midnight Men. And at midnight on the first Friday night every month, you're around Scurry, come on, well, I'll let you come in. And you might not stay, but you come in. But all I'm doing is building them young guys around the Word. We just sit there, we read the Word. talk a little bit about it, maybe get somebody to share a word out of their Bible reading, that kind of thing. But just to have that word in them because it's something worth fighting with. Of course, when Paul talked about the armor, he talked about that shield of faith. Keep putting my hand up like this. You know, he had that shield. And the first thing an ancient warrior took into a fight was that shield, right? Shield out front, the sword behind. And the first thing that you can engage that enemy with is that shield. It'll protect you. At the same time, you know, a strike to the throat to an enemy with the edge of a shield will take you a long way. And so in winning a fight. And so you've got to have that faith and the word of God. Those are things worth fighting with. They're things that last. They're things that eternal. They can deal with every enemy, whether it's spiritual, whether it's physical, whether it's mental, whether it's relational, right? Find you some people worth fighting with. Who you running with? Who you running with? Are you alone in a myriad of people, in an ocean of people? Are you alone, or the people you're dealing with not able to help you overcome in the fight of life? You got to make sure you're around people that are worth fighting with. If you hadn't found it, you go find you a good church. They're out there. Don't go look for a perfect one, because churches are full of people. But you go find and you do some things to build in life. I know right now there's men I could call who come give me the shirt off their back. I'm going to call a guy, one of my dearest friends, as soon as I get through making this minute. His mama's really, really sick right now. I'm checking on her. I'm going to check on him. They're pretty far out of town. And just see how he's doing. And I don't know what he's got going on right now, but he's been down there with her now for many, many days, right? And just our mere presence together, he'll encourage me, I'll encourage him, right? As iron sharpens iron, so a man sharpens the countenance of his friend. You got to find you a good church. Be faithful in your church. Minister in your church. Get in there and do life with people. Help in Vacation Bible School. Help the kids get to camp. If you can't do, then you send them. You give them money. You make yourself a part of a missionary's life. Engage in things that matter. Fight this fight with people worth fighting with. And more than anything is make sure you can fight it on a spiritual level. You've got to know the Lord, because I'm going to tell you something, boys and girls, he's the one that carries the load. If the Lord don't carry the load, we're done. The Lord don't need help, but he loves partnership with his children. And if you will not try to carry the heavy end of the cross and let him do it, you'll find that he'll bring you into a partnership and a reality with who he is. And you have then that capacity for abundant living. And when you're living abundantly, discouraging things come and go. This is life. This is life. Okay? And God's not going to let you face things in life that are bigger than your ability to bear them in him. Okay? He said there's no temptation taking you. Okay? Even the temptation to get discouraged. There's no temptation taking you, but such as is common to all mankind, right? But God is faithful, who will not allow you to be tempted above what you are able, but will with the temptation also provide a way to escape, that you might be able to bear it. And some of those ways to help escape it is worth fighting for. Can I fight with this? Can I fight with these folks? And am I walking with the Lord? Is the Lord the one really going before me? Is the Lord my forward and my rearward? Right? That's what the Lord said he was, a rearward, okay? And he's the rear guard, and he's the one that's out front. Lord knows where he's going. He can protect you on every side. Why should I fear man, right? My Lord made the heavens and the earth. Amen? So we'll just keep going. We'll keep going, won't quit, won't stop. You know, I won't get where I wanted to really go in life, but I tell you what, when I come to my last day, I want to at least be going forward. Amen? Hey, you hang in there. You hold on to Jesus. If we can help you any way at Victory, you let us know. And hey, they always reminded me to do this. And boy, it always makes a difference when y'all do. Like these things, share them with your friends and those kind of things. When you share a video with your friend, they'll watch this thing from start to finish. If it just shows up on their feed, they may or may not. But encourage somebody and help somebody. And don't you quit. Whatever you do, don't you quit. You can always hold on. All right? You hang on 5 more seconds when you stay in the fire department. You put that fire out 5 seconds at a time sometimes. It's all right. You can deal with anything 5 more seconds. And you just keep going. You trust the Lord. All right. Love y'all. Have you a great day. And I'd say pray for this Sudan, but I think it probably just needs a funeral. We'll see y'all later. Bye-bye.